Hello everyone, dear students of BA Part First English Literature, Paper 1, Government Girls College Hod. I am Didi Gupta, Associate Professor of English at your college. I welcome you all in our these video series and lectures which have been prepared and delivered by us for your study. I also congratulate you that you have been admitted in this college from this session in BA Part 1. I also congratulate you that you have opted English literature as your optional subject. I am sure if you follow these videos, lectures, guidance from time to time given by us will definitely benefit you to understand the literature as well as it will also be beneficial for your examination point of view. We all are facing the corona period. Therefore, the study should not be lost. So, the government direction, according to government directions, we have been preparing lectures, online lectures, videos, as well as the material for your study through PDF file. You have been added in the group, WhatsApp group, which has been made by your college, BA Part 1. So you can share, you can study the concerned lectures and videos according to your subjects. You can also give feedback. You can also ask questions regarding your subject to your subject teachers. So far, English literature is concerned, you are most welcome to ask any queries, any questions to me on my mobile number, which are 9414251366. So this is what for your introduction. Now we shall start the poem which has been prescribed in your syllabus in your course for BA Part 1 English Literature Paper 1. And the poem is Shall I Compare Thee to a Summer's Day? This is the title of the poem written by William Shakespeare. I hope you have heard the name of William Shakespeare in your previous classes. If you came to read any poem written by William Shakespeare, or in your GK, you have heard the name of William Shakespeare. You know, William Shakespeare is one of the greatest poet and dramatist of English literature. He was born in 1564 and died in 1634. He has been the greatest dramatist. He is the writer of famous tragedies. He has also written comedies, and which are so popular that when they are universal, not only popular, but they are universal. when we go through them, we find that they are true today also. Every character reflects the present. Every dialogue, every incident seems to be real. It seems as if they are happening today. So far his poems are concerned, he has written almost 154 sonnets. You have to also understand the word sonnet, the term sonnet. Sonnet, he has written sonnets, and this is also one of those sonnets, and they are 154 in all. Now, what is sonnet? Sonnet is a poem, is a short poem of 14 lines. There are only 14 lines in a sonnet. You must understand. And in this way, the poet William Shakespeare has written 150 sonnets, 154 sonnets. Some of these sonnets have been addressed to a dark lady about whom we don't have any reference or knowledge from the history. As well as he has written 126 sonnets addressing to his friend whom he loved too much. And his friend's name is W.H. He was a young man. And these sonnets have written on him. This sonnet number 18, this is the sonnet number 18 among the 154. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? This sonnet was first published in 1609. And this is one of the famous lyric poems in English. Shakespeare sonnets have the different structure, different parts, and they are different from the classical sonnets. In fact, there are two types of sonnets we can classify. One is classical sonnets, which are also called as Miltonic sonnets, and the other type of sonnet is Shakespearean sonnets. Shakespearean sonnet we have been reading. It contains 14 lines, okay? And when we divide these 14 lines, there are three quatrains. Each quatrain contains 4 lines. And then we have one couplet of the 2 lines. The last 2 lines are called the couplet. This is the structure of Shakespearean sonnet. The idea is developed in the first three quatrains, and then the conclusion we have in the last 2 lines, that is a couplet. The rhyming schemes are also different from the classical sonnets. So we will see later on and discuss about the sonnet as well. But for now, we have to go with this sonnet, this poem written by William Shakespeare. Now, what is there in this sonnet? As you know very well, this sonnet has been addressed to his friend W.H., whose name was W.H. So, in this sonnet, the speaker, and who is the speaker? The speaker is the poet himself. So, the speaker or the poet asks whether he should compare the young man to a summer's day. So, you see the title of the poem, Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? There is a question mark. So the poet asks himself, or we can say to the readers, or to addressing to the friend as well. So he asks whether he should compare the means here friend. So whether he should compare his friend to a summer's day, the day of the summer season. So the poet here wants to compare his friend with a summer's day. But there is a question mark. So he doubts that whether he should compare his friend's beauty, his friend's lovely nature with a summer's day. Summer's day, the day of the summer. Okay? But the poet or the speaker finds that no, he should not compare his friend with the summer's day, because his friend, who is the young man, has the qualities, has certain traits, good qualities, which surpasses a summer's day, which overpowers the summer's day, which are much more than the summer's day. So we can say, so far the theme of the poem is concerned, that the eternity is the general theme of the poem, that we will understand when we understand the poem first. This is a gist, that eternity is the theme. That is, the tone of the sonnet is endearing, lovely, loving, and the poet is trying to convince the readers of the eternal beauty of his young friend. So, the eternal beauty is the general theme of this poem, and eternity means permanent. So, here the poet considers his own friend's traits and qualities as permanent, whereas the summer is not permanent, because after summer we have rainy seasons, after rainy seasons we have winter seasons, then we have the spring seasons. So the poet means to say that the seasons are changeable. Summer is not long lasting, it's not permanent. Whereas he says that his friend's good qualities, his friend's beauty, lovely nature is permanent. Now, let's see how the poet makes his friend eternal permanent, having the eternal beauty. How? Because man is also a mortal being. One day man has to die. The death is inevitable to man. So how can the qualities or his friend become eternal or permanent? So this is we have to see. But let me clear you that the poet is making his friend's beauty eternal through the poems. So in the last two lines, we will have the conclusion ki how the poet makes his friend's beauty or friend's nature or friend as permanent and eternal. Let's go with the text. I have chosen only two stanzas for right now for this lecture, and the other one stanza and the couplet we will discuss in next lecture. So let's go with the text. First four lines. First stanza of this poem. Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Thou art more lovely and more temperate. Rough winds do shake the darling buds of May, and summer's lease hath all too short a date. Very beautiful sonnet, beautiful poem in praise of his friend W.H. So, as I told you, The poet asks the question to himself, shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Should he compare his friend's beauty or his friend to the summer's day, the day of summer season? Then he says, thou art more lovely and more temperate. But he gives up the idea. He gives up the idea to compare his friend with a summer's day. Why? He gives the reason here. He says that thou art more lovely and more temperate. Because thou means here you friend. His friend is more lovely and more temperate. More temperate means moderate, not hot. So he wants to say, he wants to compare his friend's beauty with that of summer. But he drops this idea and he thinks that his friend is more lovely, that is more perfect, more beautiful as compared with the summer, and more temperate, as well as he is more lovely, more dear, more temperate than the summer, because the summer season is not temperate, is not moderate, is not lovely. We don't like too much the summer season. It is hot, it's not endurable. So he says that his friend is more lovely and more temperate than the summer season. So the poet says in next lines, rough winds do shake the darling buds of May. Because in summer season, what happens? The rough winds blow. We see the rough winds, harsh winds blow. And they are very extreme. They are very wild. So the summer is the season of the rough winds, harsh days, with extremity, hot, extreme hot. Whereas, whereas he says that his beloved's beauty, his friend's beauty, is gentler, is soothing, is attractive, and it is more restrained than the summer. So it's not harsh, but it's lovely. So the poet doesn't want to compare his friend with a summer's day, friend's beauty, friend's lovely nature. So he doesn't compare with doesn't want to compare his friend with the summer's day. So he gives the negative points of the summer. And here you see the summer has also been personified. That is, summer is just like a man. It has been personified. Okay. Then in the last line of this stanza, as he says, argues that summer does not last very long. You see the last line? And summer's lease means duration, had all too short a date, which has very short a date. That is for a short period. The summer's duration is for the short period. Then it changes. Then, as I told you, then the rain comes. So the summer is also not a permanent. Summer is not also a permanent season. It does not last long. It will end very sometimes after. So the summer must be abide by the agreements made to the weather. So summer is according to the weather. When the weather changes, summer goes. Therefore, he means to say that the summer's beauty is not eternal, summer is not permanent, whereas the beauty of his friend is permanent. So, 2 points here have been clear given by the poet when comparing his friend to a summer's day, that his friend is better than the summer because the summer has a very harsh winds, harsh temperature, unbearable hot. Okay, and the second that it does not last long. It's not permanent, but it's changeable according to the weather. So he doesn't think that he should compare his friend with the beauty of summer. Okay, now we go with the second stanza of this poem. Let me speak. Sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines, and often is his gold complexion dimmed, and every fair from fair sometime declines, by chance or nature's changing course untrimmed. So here the poet says that everything changes with the time. So here the poet making the time powerful, sees the time very powerful. So when the time changes, everything changes. He sometimes too hot the eye of heaven shines. Sometimes we see too hot, too hot. The eye of heaven means the sun. That the sun is shining very hot in the sky. Sometimes we see in the summer season. But often is his gold complexion. But often we also see that the gold complex सुनहरा जो दृश्य है सूर्य का, that is often dimmed, dim हो जाता है because of the eclipse, because of the clouds. Sometimes we see that its beauty, the beauty of the sun, that is the gold complexion, is also dimmed, fades away, disappeared. The sun is disappeared. That is because of the time. So here the poet is telling us that it is time which is powerful. It is time which makes changes in this world. So comparing with the summer's day, now the poet says that because समर कब आता है? जब सूर्य बहुत तेजी से चमकता है. लेकिन देखते हैं कि ये भी कई बार सूर्य जो है कि बादलों में छिप जाता है, कई बार गायब हो जाता है, एक्लिप्सेस की वजह से बिल्कुल डिम हो जाता है, चंद्र ग्रहण, सूर्य ग्रहण वगैरह की वजह से. So he says every fair from fair sometime declines. So the poet says that every fair, every beautiful thing from the beauty, that also sometime declines because of the time. So the thing which is beautiful today will be faded after some time. The beauty will be declined. Beauty will get decays during the course of the time. So the time destroys the beauty, every beauty. What is the beautiful thing in the world is destroyed by the time. Or by chance or nature. That is by chance or nature changing course untrimmed. So this is because of the time, this is because of the changing course of the nature, that every beauty is degraded, decays, and this degradation happens by chance or by the rule of nature, as we know, and which remains unmodified, untrimmed. We cannot, we cannot change. We don't have any power to change in that course of nature, the rule of nature. So this is how the poet is comparing his friend's beauty with the summer's day. Now, the another 6 lines of this sonnet we will discuss in our next video. So far, some other points of the sonnet. Let me tell you that this sonnet again has the 14 lines of iambic pentameter with a rhymed couplet at the end. So, generally, the classical or the traditional poems have been written, or especially these sonnets have been written in iambic pentameter. So, it's a type of metrical line most commonly used in traditional English and verse drama. As I told you, it consists three quatrains, and it has also a rhyme. And rhyme scheme of the sonnet is A B A B C D C D E F E F G G. It means that the first line is rhyming with the third line, second line is rhyming with the fourth line, fifth line is rhyming with the seventh line, and sixth line is rhyming with the eighth line. Ninth line is rhyming with the 11th, and 10th line is rhyming with the 12th, and 13 and 14 lines rhyming each other. This is how we have the rhyming scheme of the sonnet. Figurative language is there, metaphor is there, that we have seen. Summer has been also personified, and time has also been personified here. And poet is comparing his beloved's beauty with that of summer in different ways. So death is here also. So, we will see being personified. So this is what we have for today. In our next video, we shall discuss the other 6 lines of this poem. Till then, bye bye. Thank you very much. See you.